I'd like to call to order the Eastpointe Planning Commission special meeting for Tuesday, June 10th at 7 p.m. As our secretary is basking in the sun of Europe, Ms. Holman, please call the roll.
Commissioner Hall-Rayford?
Here.
Commissioner Moody?
Here.
Commissioner Naylor, I'm sorry, I don't think she's here. Commissioner Sasek?
Here.
Commissioner Stokes?
Here.
We know Commissioner Ulinski is on vacation.
And excused.
Chair DeHunt?
Here. Just in the interest of clarity, if you are not speaking tonight, please turn your microphone off. That way we ensure better AV services. Moving on, before we go to the approval of the agenda, I want to express why we're all here tonight. Immediately after the May 22nd meeting, an email was sent to myself along with members of city administration of a YouTube video that you all will see this evening with respect to the scoring of the marijuana facilities in, I think it was 2022, whenever that was. This was information that we did not have at that point, and some of you might find it interesting to have. Notwithstanding this barking dog letter that we all received yesterday, we are here to do due diligence. We are here to ask every possible question that we can ask. It is our job to make good, wholesome, honest, forthright recommendations to City Council. It is their job to make decisions, but it is our job to make sure we are presenting them with all the information that we have. That is our role. I will call 20 special meetings if I have to make sure that City Council is given the appropriate information. So with that said, I'm going to defer before I go on a little further, and then I want you guys to see this video that has been queued up, and then I'm going to defer to Commissioner Sasek, who helped light the fire on this one. So Mr. Myers, if you would please turn the YouTube video on. Is this voice on? Can we turn it up?
Expeditiously. Our city planner has actually scheduled the afternoon of November 29th. We are requiring that all three applicants be present for a meeting with the respective city officials that will be involved in moving this project forward, which will be our planners, our engineer, our building official, and most likely our fire marshal, and then a representative of the police department as it regards the security plans. So each applicant will have a 45-minute private meeting with that team. I'm assuming that will go out in the official letter that you send to the three applicants. And I can confirm the times and get those to you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I would just like to clarify. Now we scored based on what was presented. So they presented they're going to build the Taj Mahal, and they turn around and say, we want to build a trailer park. We have the right to rescind their license for failure to comply?
Yes, because what was filed in the application was relied upon by this committee for purposes of scoring.
Okay. I mean, minor changes, but nothing significant.
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay. So, where's my...
So this was the information that was given to us that might have been very different. So I am going to defer to Commissioner Sasek, whose email I received, thus having me call this special meeting. So Commissioner Sasek, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chairman DeHunt. Once this video came to fruition and we saw it, after a 3-hour meeting on the 22nd of May, where answers were being skirted, never really directly taken care of, making statements that, it's not going to set any priorities or that. we had a 4-2 vote that night. Under Sturgis and under the rules of order and that for the city, in order to even begin to think about rescinding a previous vote, that action has to be brought before the group by a person that was on the prevailing side of the vote. And in this case, I was on the prevailing side only because we spent 3 hours and I could not think of a reason to say, no, we can't approve this. Once I saw the video and realized that since November 2022, this particular common citizens had been aware, and the site plan, we kept talking about the fact that this is the site plan you submitted, this is what was approved, and you are now making major changes. It wasn't little changes. It wasn't asking to not put in as many trees. This was a major change, and I believe that if this commission had seen this information that night, the vote would have gone very differently. So that is why I sent the email to Chairman Daunt and to the members of city administration to have this special meeting so that we can possibly revisit rescinding this vote.
And
Thank you.
And I do want to highlight something that our planner was able to pull for us from our bylaws, as it was inferred that we don't have the right to do this. PC bylaws, section 2 says the PC's, Planning Commission, parliamentary procedure is governed by the Sturgis Standard Code for anything not specifically addressed in the bylaws. In the Sturgis book, pages 32 to 34, it says the motion to rescind and amend by a new main motion apply only to motions that have been carried. These 3 procedures just mentioned have no time limit and may be used at any further meeting and convention. So, you know, in the interest of using AI, before I even had this from the planner, I asked AI, and they came back and said, yes, we had the right to do it under Sturgis. But I was not on the prevailing side, and I couldn't say anything. And then when I got Commissioner Sassek's email, we moved forward. So that's why we're all here today. Some suffering, some not. But I am also going to say we're not going to put 3 hours in and hash back and forth like we did last time. So I'm going to call for a hard stop at 8 p.m. Because we've suffered enough under this. So moving on, I'd like to open the, I'd like to get a motion for the approval of the agenda. Do I have motion?
So motion.
We have motion. Do we have support?
Support.
We have motion by Ms. Moody. We have support by Ms. Hall-Rayford. Ms. Holman, please call the roll.
Commissioner Moody,
Yes.
Commissioner Hall-Rayford,
Yes.
Commissioner Sasek,
Yes.
Commissioner Stokes,
Yes.
Chair DeHunt.
Yes. Moving on to the hearing of the public, you have 3 minutes to speak. You can speak about anything you want. Please be nice. That's all I ask. If you would please go to the podium, there should be a piece of paper. Please write your name down. And commissioners, if you would make sure to turn off your microphones. And if you get close to the 3 minutes, I'll raise my hand. You got 30 seconds left, and then you can, just so you know.
Absolutely. I'd like to address you. My name is Michael Andrew Machinsky. I'm the owner of 24545 Gratiot. I ran a car lot there since 2008. I started that. It was one of my first businesses. I was very successful there, and they came and approached me to want to buy my business. I held the master deed for the property. Their tax ID is on my property, and they were supposed to cash me out on the building back in December. Instead of doing that, they forced me into a land contract, and on that land contract, the same day, they approached you and tried to take me out of the deal. So they're very deceptive and run in shadows, and then I talked to their lawyer numerous times, and he continues to delay to buy time. But really, they're just looking for every avenue, and they have no regard for the community, and they just want to leave my building abandoned. And I would just frankly like to remove myself from the deal and return to having a car lot and running a successful business that I can bring my children to and have memories and a legacy. And with the marijuana dispensary next to me, that's not going to be possible because of all the traffic. There already wasn't enough parking when Joe was selling 1 or 2 guitars next door. There's no parking, and it's going to cause people running all over my car lot and damage to vehicles and people being high and garbage and all these sorts of things, and not to mention the traffic. I couldn't even barely have enough parking for my own business, let alone theirs. So I'd really like you to take that into consideration so I could move forward with the business I already had there. Thank you.
Does anyone else wish to be heard? Does anyone else wish to be heard?
Good evening. My name is Will DeSessa. I recognize that this is the public engagement portion of the agenda tonight. However, I just want to make sure that Common Citizen has the opportunity to address any and all questions and concerns presented by the body tonight. Tonight I have with me here the lead of our architectural team, once again, Harold Remlinger, and once again, Chad Zaki, who is one of the principals of the entity, who I will note ended up in a collision tonight. Someone hit him on the road, and he's still managed to find time to be here this evening. So that is the level of commitment we have to this city, and we hope that we are given the opportunity to speak on this matter. Thank you so much.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sean Smith. I know at least one of you from the past. How are you? I was called the other day by a good friend of mine, Michael Mazinski. I've known him for 20 years. I knew him when he on the lot, and I knew him when he started to negotiate with these folks for a dispensary to be in Eastpointe. I was familiar with the fact that there was a master plan. I was familiar with the idea, and I thought to myself, you know, that's whatever the city decides, that's going to be probably a long shot. But for some reason, you know, I think that's the way the world is moving, and the city has opened its arms to that. I find it interesting that video kind of speaks to what I was going to say, because there was a master plan. It did include Mr. Omazinski's property. And at that point, when they were analyzing it and scoring it, they decided that if, in fact, this property is laid out in this exact way, that this might be something that we can accept. Maybe not wholeheartedly, but at that time they were accepting it. Then I get a call recently, and Mike says, I don't know what's going on, but we signed an agreement on May 22nd, May 1st, and then I was waiting and wasn't hearing anything, and all of a sudden I find out from somebody that there's some minutes that say that they're excluding my property. Now, that alarmed me for several reasons. The first reason is because I can't remember, in the very beginning, I think you talked, sir, about you're gonna have an honest and open and truthful discussion. In order to have an honest, open, and truthful discussion with all of you, from 2022 until the vote is actually sealed, these folks have to be honest and open. And when they sign new contracts, avoid their responsibilities to the community, and want to downsize the property, leaving one property which would amount to blight or reopening of a dealership, that's not good for the community. And I think as far as there's some sort of community benefit statement that has to go into this process. And if in fact these people act like this with Mr. Omazinski, a longtime businessman in this community, who if they double cross him, so to speak, if they pull the wool out from him, when they're sitting there arguing with you last time about the date that they need to be done, and I can't remember which one of you said, look, this is the date, you're gonna be done, and that's it, you've had since 2022. I think there's a trust issue, and it's not good for the community when you have people coming in that are not from the community, that are already causing waves and trust issues. So I'm asking you to rescind your previous vote, reconsider the factor, and if they really want to go forward with it, negotiate in good faith. Thank you.
Does anyone else wish to be heard? Please put your name. Thank you.
Shad Zaki, one of the principals. So if we want to talk about honesty, let's talk about honesty. We have paid Mr. Omazinski, is it? Approximately $600,000. Not only that, we have done everything that the agreement has said that we needed to do. Part of changing it to a land contract, as was relayed by our general counsel that Mr. Omazinski is talking about and talking to during this whole process, is because he's going through a personal matter and needed to also change the entity. So we obliged. And during this, he also tried to up the amount. So if we want to talk about being honest and negotiating in good faith, we've done nothing but that. And during this time, we've even donated into the community with the Eastpointe Tigers, for example. We've been nothing but good patrons and not even yet doing business yet here. On top of that, our community statement is pretty clear. We have committed $500,000 to this city. $500,000, which we have still not, we are not saying that we're going to pull that back. That's not part of it. There is no major change. You want to represent it as such. We're talking about a building that was going to be torn down to be put into a parking lot. The project still looks exactly the same, but minus the parking lot on the corner, which really should be a business and stay on the tax roll. As a parking lot, it does not. That's all I gotta say. Thank you.
My name is Katie Juronic. I am Michael's girlfriend. I don't believe any of that to be true. I have been with Michael while he has been negotiating with Common Citizen, and his original contract ended in December. They were supposed to pay him a balloon payment, couldn't make that payment, and then they negotiated a new contract. And that was where the land contract started. And he did up the amount. There's more liability in a land contract. It's a very long time. And there was no guarantee that they were going to keep the building throughout the entire time. To this day, the lawyer still has not told him that he's no longer part of the deal. They totally cut him out and never informed him. They have been totally deceptive, and what they're doing is wrong. He can't run a car lot there. He can't, there's no parking, there's not enough room. I mean, I'm not sure what he's supposed to do with that land. He closed down his dealership and he let his dealer's license expire. So what does he do? How does he go through all of those hoops? Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else wish to be heard? Does anyone else wish to be heard? Seeing none, we will close the hearing of the public and we'll move on to new business. Mr. Myers, shall we defer to you to start the,
Now that we have a fill-in for Paul, we'll let him take the
okay.
lead.
Noah.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Noah Bussell. I am a community planner with McKenna. I am filling in for Paul Urbiel, who normally serves as a planner in this capacity. I just wanted to verify that this is being read exactly as written.
That's right.
Okay, so and this is the recommended now.
That's right.
So reading from the motion to recommend denial, the motion is read to move to recommend denial of the.
It's not in this.
Oh, I apologize.
That's right.
Yes.
He's on that side. It's not on here.
Mr. Chair, if I may,
Yes.
I think it's on the commissioners to decide what the next step is.
Okay.
If they wanted to rescind their vote or if they wanted to continue.
All right, let's defer, as I was not on the prevailing side. I will defer to, I
missed that part of it, so,
We're going to do a little discussion here.
okay.
Yes, we're going to discuss this before we vote.
I'm definitely in favor of that.
All right, so we have one vote to rescind. Do we have any other votes to rescind? I vote to rescind.
If I had seen the video presented at the last meeting, I would also vote to rescind. I would not have voted the way that I did. So I would vote to rescind then.
I'm voting to rescind.
And Chair, the basis for the motion to rescind, just so the record is clear, Commissioner Sassy, is based on the video that was presented.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure that the record is clear
Yes.
that that is the basis for the motion to rescind.
Mr. Chair, I have a motion by Commissioner Sassy.
Oh, before we do the motion,
sorry.
Ms. Moody?
I'm torn. I really am torn. I guess I would have to rescind to have a more in-depth discussion before a final vote.
Okay. Ms. Holman?
Mr. Chair, oh, sorry.
Yes.
Do you want to call the vote at this time?
Let's read the motion first. Would,
We do.
we'll make the motion, then we can go into some additional discussion.
On hand with us, we don't have.
Yes.
We don't have that motion in writing.
Okay, so let's make a motion. I'll make the motion. Oh, I can't actually.
No, you can't.
It's on
I
you.
will make a motion that
You
we
already did.
rescind the vote of May 22nd, 2025, approving recommendation to city council to approve the site plan
Special land use.
and special land use, and then site plan.
No, site
Just
plan,
okay.
special land use.
Special land use for the property at 2425, I'm sorry, 24545 and through 24525.
Support.
And the basis for the motion again,
And the date of the motion
the basis for the motion.
is tonight, correct?
No, the basis of the
Oh, the
motion.
basis of the motion is that the video that was presented after the May 22nd meeting brought to light information that we did not have that would have led to a well-informed vote.
Support.
We have motion and support. Any further discussion? Ms. Moody? We're all friends here. We're all out for one thing, the good of the community.
My discussion is the fact that it is obvious that there's something that is underhanded here, appears to be, let me use that language. And for the 12th hour, it seems as though we are, bullying is not a proper word, but I'm going to use it anyway because I feel like using it. It's not fair to the commission. It really isn't. And we should not be sitting here having to determine who in the world is telling the truth. That is not what we are here for. We are here to do for the betterment of the community. That is our purpose. And whatever decision is made for that, that is what we're going to do. And I personally don't appreciate it. I really don't, because I could be doing something else right now besides sitting here going over something over and over again when I spent 3 hours last week or whenever the last meeting was. 3 hours of precious time, and now we are seeing something totally different. So that's just my opinion. No more discussion.
Chairman DeHunt, if I could add to that.
I think Ms. Rayford was
Okay, I'm
moving in for the microphone.
After seeing the information, I'm a little perturbed that the entire story was not forthcoming. I asked several times about timeline. What happens if you don't meet the deadline? I asked for, could you provide us with a detailed step-by-step of what could be done to make sure you meet this deadline? It's not that I want you to fail. I just want to make sure that you could meet the deadline. Now, had I had this information beforehand, my vote would have been different because I wasn't really sure of it to start with, but I gave you the benefit of the doubt. When the scoring committee laid out what they expected, and even at the last meeting on May 22nd, you said all the properties had not been purchased. But in this letter that we received, it appears that someone wants to hold the planning commission or the city responsible for your not being able to meet the deadline. I don't understand that. You've had until 2022 to obtain the properties. And even though it was said that you were waiting for recreational marijuana to become of it, had you gone ahead and started with the medical that you were approved to do, moving into recreational wouldn't have been a problem. And then we would not be having this meeting tonight or the meeting on May 22nd. So I'm not sure what you expect us to do or that you think we are capable of making an appropriate decision. I, for one, and this is not having to deal with this per se, but I tend to look at people when they're talking because I have a hearing impairment. And so when I see someone speaking to me in a rather condescending voice, I get irritated. Maybe that wasn't your intention, but that's the way it came across. That had nothing to do with my vote last week, however. But if you want to make sure you get what you want, knowing how to talk to people, even though you think we're not experts, and we're not, I freely admit that, but we've been given a task and a role to play in what we recommend to the city council. And honesty, full facts make a difference.
Transparency is magnificent. It's not a one-way street. You see through glass both ways. The glass has been smoked or darkened and tinted. We didn't get clear information. I don't know if anybody would have even thought about looking into it the way it was presented. But this was the most offensive thing I have ever seen in my life. I got that last night and I wanted to scream bloody murder. We are here to take care of our community. We are here to safeguard our community. And we are here to hold people accountable for promises made. And I'm trying to be nice, I really am. But it's incredibly insulting. I would hold my nose over the daycare, which I personally find horrific, if you build the entire complex. I would hold my nose over the daycare, but you're not proposing that. I want people to do what they say they're going to do.
So again tonight, you stand there before us telling us that you've been above board. But tonight, just like May 1st and just like May 22nd, every time we asked you, why has it taken you 2.5 years to do nothing? And then in the 11th hour, you're expecting this commission, which is responsible for the whole community, to buckle under and grant deceitfully, because that's what it was. You knew from November of 2022 that that clause was in there that you could not change major changes. We're not talking a tree. We're talking eliminating a whole parcel and not doing anything with it. And yet you're expecting the city then to welcome you, and you haven't been above board on everything. And when I saw that videotape after the way we voted, I was upset. Because like the other members on this commission, I was really conflicted as to how I should vote. And I did vote yes that night. And that's exactly why when I saw that video, I realized as a person on the side that actually won that night, I had to bring it back forward to this commission.
I have no other comment.
So we have a motion, we have support, I believe, to rescind.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I have a motion by Commissioner Sasek and a support by Commissioner Hall Rayford at this time.
Will the commission allow us to speak on this matter?
Mr. Myers,
What was the question?
the gentleman would like to speak. Before we vote.
He's allowed. He's welcome.
All right.
Thank you. Once again, I have with me Harold Remlinger, who is of our architectural team, and Chad Zaki, who is one of the principals of the...
I'm sorry, sir, would you please speak into the microphone so it's on the record? Thank you.
My apologies, I'm so sorry, and that was far too close. Once again, my name is Will DeSessa. I'm a representative, the legal representative of Common Citizen for tonight's meeting. With me again today is Harold Remlinger, who is our architectural lead, and Chad Zaki, one of the principals of Common Citizen. Now, I suppose the first thing that I'm going to do is address tone. It was said tonight a couple times that condescension is not appreciated, and I understand that entirely. And if at any point my tone in the previous meeting was less than cordial, please understand that that is not a function of intent. I have only meant to speak with the utmost respect to this body in every sense of the word, every time I have addressed it. And so if I have not come across that way, Madam Commissioner, I do apologize to you. That said, so today's proceedings now appear to have been motivated by the video that was, or the partial video that was shown before the vote. There are some important things to note about that video. First, it's been said a few times that the video was not in the city's possession. That video is of proceedings.
I would stop you there. We'd never said that.
Well, you said that you weren't aware of it.
We were not given that information, but it's not I'm not saying that it wasn't in the city's possession. Quite frankly, it was an irate resident who found it, was so irritated by that meeting, they found it and presented it to us, to be completely transparent.
I appreciate that. Okay. That being said, the video was of a portion, as I understand it, of the scoring of the original permits. So the statement, which I am paraphrasing because I did not have the opportunity to review any of this before now, the thrust of it was that the city has the authority to revoke a permit, a medical marijuana permit, on the basis of changes or major changes to the site plan. The first thing that has to be noted about that is that at that meeting, site plan and special land use approval were not up for discussion on the table. That meeting was about scoring the permits. This body, and again, I'm trying to say this with as much respect as I can, with all the respect that the body is in fact due. The question before the Planning Commission is not whether or not Common Citizen's medical marijuana permit needs to be revoked. The question before this body is whether or not special land use approval should be recommended for approval.
I would actually stop you there, and I would simply state that it goes to the intent, sir. It goes to the fact that at that meeting, it was stated that if the site plan was not lived up to, then it would be revoked. It has nothing. It could be revoked, yes, thank you. This is about the intent. This is about promises made. This is about us being able to hold people accountable. This is about the slippery slope. And to that point, immediately following the last meeting, one of the other facilities had the nerve to go to our planning department and ask not to take down a part of their site plan. So one of the three others was using this as a cudgel against the city to get out of having to do something they too promised to do. This is the slippery slope. This is the intent.
I'm sorry.
And that is a problem.
I guess I just want to have a point of clarification. Another one of the successful applicants came before the body. It wouldn't have been in a meeting, so.
Mr. Myers, are you at liberty to discuss?
I am not.
Okay. I will state that one of the other facilities wished to make drastic changes along the scale of what you folks are proposing.
But it also sounds like they didn't attempt to go through the proper procedures and requesting an amendment before this body, which is precisely what we have done.
Kudos to you guys for taking the proper route.
Can we
So
end this because it's another night
I don't want to cut off Commissioner Sasek, I'm sorry. Okay. My apologies, Commissioner Sasek. But you just acknowledged, Chair DeHaan, that we have gone through the proper legal route. That is the only question before this body. Once again, the statements that were made in that video had to do with the approval of our application for a medical marijuana facility permit, not for our site plan or special land use approval. Those items are governed exclusively by section, well, with regard to special land use, which is the only item before the agenda today, section 13.03, which lays out a very narrow set of factors that the body may consider in deciding whether to recommend approval for a special land use to the city council. And multiple members of this commission at the last meeting stated on the record that legally there is no basis upon which to make that denial. Now, I understand frustrations, but respectfully, I suppose I'm hard-pressed to understand the narrative that's been presented to my client. We have, as the zoning ordinance allows, requested through the proper procedures that we be allowed to amend our special land use. We explained at the last meeting that that was due to market forces outside of common citizens' control. And afterward, when we had articulated our thoughts on the factors that are before the body in reviewing requests to amend a special land use, it was again agreed with us that there are no legal bases under those factors to deny our request for a special land use. Again, the narrative is somewhat surprising to me because we have gone through the proper channels to request an amendment. And I suspect that there have been many other entities across many industries that have done the same properly under this city's code of ordinances. But when we have done the same, we have been met with this narrative that it is deceptive to even request the approval for a special land use amendment. And that's simply never been our intent. And we explained that, I think, multiple times at the last meeting. This is not a case of bait and switch. This is not a circumstance where we sat in dark rooms and discussed how we were going to switch out a site plan or a special land use request. We explained this is the result, a necessary result of this request, of market forces that are outside of our control. The portion of the video there that was taken, again, not from a discussion about the propriety of site plan or special land use approval, has nothing to do with the factors that are before the body today.
I would actually I would dispute that for the simple reason, the only reason why you are here today is because you were granted one of those three licenses. And had you not been scored where you were at, it could be somebody completely different here right now. So I would say that that information is in fact very pertinent to this body.
Again, the factors that are before the body in reviewing special land use approvals are very narrow. They are under section 13.03, as the body knows, and I'm not trying to be condescending, I'm just making a record. The factors are compatible, is the premises compatible with adjacent uses and an improvement to the community? We responded to this in our application materials. Second factor, is it consistent with the master plan? We responded to this in our application materials, and we did so on the record when it was suggested that that be one of the reasons why the city might recommend a denial to the city council. Item C, on the same factors, adequately served by essential public facilities. Again, we had answered that in our application materials, and that was one of the items that was presented as a potential means for the body to recommend denial, and the body recommended approval. Item D, impact on pedestrian and vehicle traffic, same thing. Item E, protects health, safety, and welfare of community from nuisances. Item F, consistent with the zoning ordinance. In every regard, with respect to this body, we have satisfied those factors. And just again, to make a record, Section 10-271 of the zoning ordinances. Apologies, Section 13.07. Subsection E explicitly allows for amendments to approved special land uses. This is a routine proceeding that we are attempting to avail ourselves of, and it is one that we requested in good faith with the body. We did not go to our premises, put shovels in the ground, and just start building a non-compliant structure and then ask for forgiveness later. We have attempted to go through the proper channels. I submit to the body that that is respectfully not deceptive. We have tried to be transparent. I don't believe that that video demonstrates any lack of transparency. I believe that that video, again, respectfully, does not pertain to this, the factors before this body today. Now,
Chairman DeHunt, if I may, I disagree with you on that point. And the reason I disagree with you on that point is the video we saw tonight was the certification of the scoring that was done based on everything that was presented to that committee. And at the end of it, after they did all of their scoring, and you, along with two other companies, were going to be granted licenses, knowing that you had to be up and running within a period of time, then you brought before the Planning Commission, before I was on it, a site plan and special land use. And that was approved. And then in April of 2025, you bring an amended site plan and land use. Well into, and this is after getting a 1-year extension back in April of 23, which would have expired in April of 24. We are now in June of 2025, and yet you're saying that you've been above board on everything, and we're still rehashing the same things. The scoring committee based their scoring, and you also said that night that nothing would have changed, but yet we had one of the members here saying, my score would have absolutely changed if this is what had been presented. We had in writing from another member, my score would have changed. And yet you're saying that no, I disagree. We are actually doing what's right for the community. And you are not living up to what was, if you had started work back in 2021 and 2022, or I'm sorry, 22 and 23, you'd have been progressing along, knowing that medical was going out, recreational was coming in, and most likely things would be accommodated. But for almost 3 years, you've done nothing but maybe set up a land contract on one piece of property. I can't support it. I'm sorry. It's not good faith.
You know, we just had a city council meeting, and apparently it was requested to have a special meeting to get this rolling. City council didn't jump at it whatsoever to create a special meeting, which makes me wonder, where their mind is. Again, we're making recommendations. We're not making decisions. We make recommendations, we gather information, and we convey that to city council. I think at this point, we've beat this horse dead.
Yes.
It's time to call a vote and move on. And then you can take your argument to city council, and they are the ultimate decision makers. So you can sell it to them. Ms. Holman, please call the roll.
This is the motion to rescind.
Yes.
Chair. Commissioner Sasek,
Yes.
Commissioner Hall Rayford,
Yes.
Commissioner Moody, Commissioner Stokes,
Yes.
Chair DeHunt.
I will abstain as I was on the losing side last time.
You don't have to be.
If I don't have to be, then I vote to rescind. The motion carries. Next, we need a motion to deny the special land use. Sorry, I was going to call you Mr. Urbil.
But am I correct in saying that the body has to articulate the legal basis upon which it is recommending a denial?
We will do that in this next motion.
Yes.
Yes, we will do that in the next motion to recommend denial of if that's the way the body goes.
Yep.
Now, you got me using the word.
Mr. Chair, the specific ordinance section is section 13.03, and it lists the factors that the commission is to consider in either recommending approval to the city council or not recommending approval to the city council.
Okay, so we do have a potential motion here.
Yes, and also if there is a motion to approve, the basis for that motion and the findings should be included in the motion. And if there is a motion not to recommend approval, then again, there should be findings as to why the Planning Commission believes that section or any portion of section 13.03 have not been satisfied.
Okay. Forgive me, no, I don't know your last name.
It's okay. It's Bustle.
Mr. Bustle, would you mind reading? So do we wish to make a motion for approval or denial?
Well, it would be denial.
Well, I just want to put it out there. All right.
Well, I wanted to make sure I'm saying the.
Mr. Bustle, if there's a motion, please read the motion with the findings of fact.
Go ahead. It just has to be made by one of the commission members first, before I read the language of the motion.
If you read the language of the motion first, one of the commissioners will decide to.
Is there a motion to approve or not recommend approval?
I believe this is going to be a motion to recommend denial.
It is, correct.
Special land use.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The motion as written is to move to recommend denial of the proposed special land use for a medical marijuana provisioning center at 24525 Gratiot with the parcel ID numbers of 14250251068, as well as those ending in 069, 070, 071, and 035 to City Council based on the following findings of fact, which I'll list separately. 1, the project is not harmonious with the master plan, nor an improvement to the community that warrants special land use approval. And 2, the proposed modification of the special land use from the plan that was approved on March 2nd, 2023 would result in a project that is ineligible to receive a license for a marijuana establishment per the proceedings of the city's medical marijuana application committee meeting on November 2nd, 2022. And lastly, the proposed modification of the special land use reduces the project's compatibility with adjacent uses and the degree to which the project would be an improvement to the community based on the removal of the demolition, site remediation, and redevelopment of the parcel at 24545 Gratiot from the project scope.
Does anybody wish to make that motion?
I would make that motion as stated.
Do we have motion? Do we have support?
Support.
We have motion by Mr. Sasek, and we have support by Ms. Hall Rayford.
Will we have the opportunity to address those since they've been put on the record?
I feel like we spin round and round and round and round, and we get nowhere. And I don't know, honestly, I don't know if there's any benefit to it, frankly. You're going to quote Section 13, this, that, and the other thing. I don't know if you're going to change anybody's opinion up here, and I wonder if it's just best for you just to take it straight to City Council. I'd be willing to poll the commission to see if they would like to entertain the gentleman's comments. It's up to you guys.
I didn't hear the comment. What was the comment?
He wishes to speak to the motion. Ms. Moody, do you wish to?
No. No.
Ms. Rayford?
No.
Mr. Sasek?
No.
Mr. Stokes?
I'd be interested in hearing what he had to say.
All right, go ahead.
Thank you. The categories under section 13.03 that were listed, I believe were twofold, and there was one additional. I'll start with that one. The additional factor, which is not outlined in the zoning ordinance, concerns whether or not our scoring and therefore permit status would have changed. We talked about this at length during the last meeting, and that is simply not a factor for the body to consider. The other factors were items, I believe, A and F under the zoning ordinance. A is whether it is compatible with adjacent uses and an improvement to the community. Our proposed use is a medical marijuana facility that has been approved in the MU3 zone district where the property sits. All abutting properties are zoned as MU3 and are compatible uses. And as shown in the civil engineering and landscaping documents that we submitted to the body, all required screening for vehicles, parking, and landscape have been provided and are up to standards with the city's code of ordinances. I submit respectfully that we are more than compatible with the adjacent uses and an improvement to the community. Whether there are negotiative concerns between common citizen and the owner of 24545 is simply not a factor to be considered within item A. Item F concerns whether it is consistent with the zoning ordinance. Again, our use is permitted in the MU3 zone district as a special land use for medical marijuana facilities. All the ordinances, again, for parking, signage, screening, and landscaping are followed, and we meet or exceed the requirements as shown in all of the drawings that our architecture team has submitted. We are in conformity with the master plan. We are in conformity with the city's vision of the community, and we have respectfully laid out a plan to beautify and make astounding, as shown here, a currently blighted and crumbling set of structures along Gratiot Avenue. The only difference is what happens with that parcel at the end. And we discussed all of this above board and before the body, as you said, for 3 hours during our last meeting. Respectfully, nothing regards to the legal analysis has changed on the basis of what has been shown to the body today. And that is what I have to say. I appreciate the body's time.
Ms. Rayford? Speak closer.
I can't remember your last name either, I'm sorry.
Bustle.
That's a bustle.
Russell, okay. You read 3 items there on which a basis for denial could be made. Could you read the third one, please?
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Rayford. The proposed modification of the special land use reduces the project's compatibility with adjacent uses and the degree to which the project would be an improvement to the community based on the removal of the demolition, site remediation, and redevelopment of the parcel at 24545 Gratiot from the project scope.
Thank you.
And respectfully, nothing about that has changed since the last meeting where the body recommended to approve. Again, I apologize for talking out of turn, but I thank the body for humoring me and entertaining my discussion.
I said it earlier, I'll say it again, build in the original project, and I will hold my nose to the daycare. And I was happy to approve the original project. It was one full block. Beautiful project. This is a beautiful project, but at the end of the day, it's not what you promised. Right. So, all right.
There's a procedure to modify what was promised. I apologize. That's in the zoning ordinance. We are following the proper procedures to request
I'm not talking about procedures, sir. At this point in the game, I'm talking about a commitment made.
Respectfully, Chair, the only thing that before the body to discuss are the legal procedures. The body has a very narrow set of...
We will allow City Council to make that decision. If they choose to override our recommendation, as they have done on many occasions, and that's fine. That is their job. This is our job. So with that said, I'm going to call an end to the conversation, and we're going to take the vote. We have motion to deny. Do we have motion to deny, and do we have support already? I'm sorry. We have motion and support. Ms. Holman, go on.
Just one, but we had to state the reason.
Oh, yes.
And that's why I was asking for the reread.
Yeah.
That would seem to.
So, Mr. Albright, do we have enough in the motion that Mr. Bustle read in for your purposes?
If the commission believes those are appropriate findings of fact and it satisfies section 13.03, then the commission can move forward. I certainly can't substitute my judgment for the finder of fact in this case, so
Okay.
you have to make that determination.
I'm content with it. Mr. Myers, do you feel that this is sufficient, or do you feel like you need more?
We do not anymore.
Okay. We have motion and support. Ms. Holman, please call the roll.
Commissioner Sasek,
Yes.
Commissioner Hall-Rayford,
Yes.
Commissioner Moody,
Yes.
Commissioner Stokes,
Yes.
Chair DeHunt.
Yes. Moving on to commissioner comments. We will start with Mr. Myers.
Chairman, I don't have any more for this evening.
Mr. Bussell, you're on the hot spot. Go ahead.
I have no more comments, Mr. Chair.
All right. Ms. Holman?
Nothing, sir, thank you.
Mr. Albright?
Welcome, Mr. Bussell. Nothing further.
Ms. Moody?
No comments.
Ms. Rayford?
No other comment?
Mr. Stokes?
No comment.
Mr. Sasek?
I just want the community to know that this is not an easy position to be in. And again, moving forward, I would hope that all facts are presented so that as a body, we can make informed decisions. This could have been avoided had we known. Better yet, this could have been avoided if in the very beginning, once everything was set to be moving forward, things progressed. But at this point, it was not an easy decision, but it had to be made.
In all my years on this commission, I've never run into anything like this in my life. Never expected to. Because maybe I live in a Pollyanna world where if somebody says they're going to do something, they do it. And they don't come back and change and flip the script. Maybe I am a Pollyanna. But you know what? Maybe we don't have enough of those people in this world right now. If you say you're going to do something, do something. This poor man has lost his car dealership, essentially, on a promise. Whether you're shaking your head or not, sir, it is what it is. But he has lost the right to do business in the city of Eastpointe unless he has to jump through ridiculous hoops if you don't go forward with his building. You know, I made mention last time about the grass. Grass is even taller than it was the last time. You're going to say, okay, I don't own the real estate. Well, that's a problem. Then maybe you should have picked up the phone and called the people that do own the real estate to clean up the grass. It's never been taken care of. Last meeting, we had people saying, well, it's not so-and-so's fault, it's not this person's fault, but yet we have a daycare that's going to be right across the street from, potentially from a marijuana facility, and it's allowed. And I did state legally that you might have the right because you have an operating agreement, and you concurred. But you still didn't acknowledge the fact that the spirit of the ordinance is being violated. I have many issues with this, but I would have held my nose on that for the original project. If I never saw another site plan for a marijuana facility, I would be ecstatic. So with that said, and me off of my soapbox, and I'm sure there's some people hating me right now, and that's fine, I've been hated before, I would encourage every one of you to go to city council, state your case, make your pitch, and let them decide, because they are the ultimate body to decide. So with that, I'm calling this body dead at 8:01. Oh, I'm sorry. Should we have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion that we adjourn at 8:01.
Motion, do we have support?
Support.
We have motion and support. Ms. Holman, please call the belated roll.
Commissioner Sasek,
Yes.
Commissioner Hall-Rayford,
Oh, that wasn't me
oh,
that time.
It was
Commissioner
Ms.
Moody,
Moody.
Yes.
Commissioner Stokes,
Yes.
Chair DeHunt,
Yes.
and Commissioner Hall-Rayford.
Yes.
Now we're gone.